What makes people unforgettable isn't just only about what they say, it's about how they make us feel. I'm Dr. Ish, and in today's episode of Brand Story School, I'm going to share that one emotional storytelling move that makes people not only remember you and keeps you unforgettable, but creates an emotional connection between you and your audience. So, ready to shift from forgettable to magnetic? Let's go. Hello guys. You're welcome to day 4 of unlocking the power of storytelling. Yes, and I am here once again, your humble host, Dr. Ishoma Elora Ona, the one and only chief story seller. I am so honored to have you here. And once again, I hope you had a very wonderful day 1 with me, day 2 with me, day 3, and now day 4 in this 7-day, very interesting and exciting course on unlocking the power of storytelling. So today we are going to be talking about the power of emotional connection. You really cannot achieve much with storytelling if you are unable to connect emotionally with your audience. The truth of the matter is that to be able to convert your leads, convert your clients, influence your audience, they have to be able to emotionally connect powerfully with your content or with your words, whether it's written, whether it's being said. This is so crucial, to closing those deals, to writing those wonderful content or posts. There just has to be a very powerful element of emotional connection because the average human makes a lot of emotional decisions based on how you are able to make them feel. Okay, and as a storyteller, you have the power to move, you have the power to inspire, and you have the power to motivate your audience. And the thing with the power of emotional connection, I like to always call it unlocking the heart of your audience. It's so important. When decisions are being made, people like to make decisions from the heart. So how do you create a connection that resonates deep within their hearts? The answer lies in the power of emotional connection. Emotional connection is the secret sauce that transforms a good storyteller into a great one. Anybody can tell stories, but to be defined as a great storyteller, you need to be able to know how to connect to the heart of your audience, and you have to leave a lasting impact on your audience. So why does emotional connection matter? Why? Why does it matter? Because emotions drive decisions. Emotions drive decisions. I take that again. Emotions drive decisions. Emotional connection is essential because it creates empathy, evokes emotion, builds trust, and inspires action. So I'm going to take them one at a time. Now, I said emotional connection is essential because one, it creates empathy. Emotional connection helps your audience understand and relate to your story on a very deep level, not surface. We don't want surface here. The level has to be deep for them to be able to, for you to be able to, influence them to make that decision you want. And the second one is, if it's the emotional connection is essential because it evokes emotions. Emotional connection evokes emotions, and it makes your audience feel invested in your story. They feel like a part of you already, like a kindred spirit. Like they know you. Your story just makes them want to know you more or feel like, I know her, I understand him. I've been there, I've done that. I know what he's talking about. I felt that pain before. Or I'm happy he's felt the pain, so he knows how I feel. And it also builds trust. Emotional connection builds trust, establishing a bond between you and your audience. It just makes them trust you. Remember, we keep talking about the KLT factor, that before anybody buys anything, service, products, or your brand from you, they must know you, they must like you, and they must trust you. It's a process. You can't skip it. They just have to know you first, and your storytelling helps them to know you. Your storytelling helps them to like you, and your storytelling helps them to trust you. And the fourth one is it inspires action. What is the point of telling someone a story when there is no action after everything has been all said and done? So emotional connection inspires action, motivating your audience to take action or make a change, right? A change has to have been made, because what would have been the essence of telling the story? Now there's a science behind emotional connection, and I'll try to do my best to simplify it down a little for you, but you can still do some research work on it, but I'll try and break it down. So research has shown that emotional connection is closely tied to the release of oxytocin. I'm not a medical doctor, but it's a fact. You can confirm that if you want. Often referred to as the cuddle hormone. You know what? Cuddle, cuddle hormone. Oxytocin, I almost chewed my tongue there, is released when we experience social bonding, trust, and emotional connection. This hormone plays a crucial role in creating a sense of attachment and loyalty. Please, these hormones, it's not for only women, it's for both women and men, just in case you're wondering, right? So this hormone plays a crucial role in creating a sense of attachment and loyalty between you and your audience, making emotional connection a powerful tool for storytellers. So it's so important. That oxytocin is a very important hormone. Remember, cuddle hormone. So, once it's released, it helps, people to bond more to you. It gives them that good feeling every time they read your story. And like I said, it helps them remember how you made them feel. So, how do you create this emotional connection? Good question. So I'll just share some tips with you. One is be authentic, be yourself. Don't fake it, don't fake it, don't fake it. Be yourself. You don't need to copy Dr. Ish. You don't need to be like Dr. Ish. Be yourself. Share your own personal experiences from your own point of view as politely as possible, please. Be vulnerable and add emotions to create a genuine connection. Don't just tell the story in a cold manner. Don't write it in a cold manner. Write it with some emotion or say it with some emotion. Okay? Use sensory details. Okay? Use sensory details. I always tell my students you need to be descriptive. You need to be descriptive with words on how you feel. If you're sad, say you feel sad, and describe how you feel sad. When you're telling stories, you say my heart dropped to the bottom of my belly. My heart was beating so fast in fear. Where descriptions like that helps people to, it drives the point home and helps people to connect more with you. So use sensory details to paint a vivid picture, making your audience feel like they're part of the story. When you want to say, oh, and I was running kitty kata, kitty kata, kitty kata, kitty kata, and then you find that your audience is also running kitty kata with you. Don't mind me. So number 3 is show, don't tell. Show your audience how you feel rather than telling them. This will help them to connect with your emotions on a deeper level. This works more, especially for those who are doing pitches or presentations. You have to show, you have to describe, body movement and all that. It makes you more convincing. But if you are writing, you can describe with words. Like I said, practice makes better. You keep practicing and you get better in using your vocabulary to express yourself. So use emotional triggers like music, images, or metaphors to evoke emotions and create a connection. Of course, that's better for physical presentations, but just so you know, and then make it personal. Make your story personal, sharing your passions, values, and motivations to create a connection with your audience. So important. Now, the power of being vulnerable. Do you know being vulnerable is a superpower? I know many people usually think being vulnerable means you are weak. No, it's not weakness anymore. Maybe in the 1960s or years back, but now being vulnerable is a superpower, just as long as you know how to manage the balance. So being vulnerable is a powerful tool for creating emotional connection. Not everybody is okay with, I mean, there's some stories you don't need to share in public. Like I said in, I think day 1 or 2, you don't need to bring out all your dirty linen outside in public. You know, there's a boundary to the kind of stories you tell. And like I always say, keep it professional, keep it simple, keep it clear. You don't need to share gory details or dirty details to become viral or to get people to feel sorry for you. Pity is a very temporary feeling. After a while, it transcends into disgust. So you need to be very wise and careful and cautious with the words you use and the kind of information you disclose about yourself. So you be vulnerable, and by sharing your vulnerabilities, you create a sense of trust and empathy with your audience. Of course, that's by being authentic, not being fake. So being vulnerable shows that you are human. Human connection is just about showing a side of you that not many people see. It's not about losing guard, as they say, but it's just about being vulnerable and being real, being honest, just like your audience. And I know that they'll be willing to take risk and be open with you. If they feel you are guarded, it's a vibe, really. Sometimes when you're in a conversation with people, you can easily tell that they are guarding information, they are guarding themselves, and automatically you also will become defensive and guard yourself as well. So it's just human instinct, basically. So that's just to buttress the fact that emotions drive decisions. So as usual, we have an example of David, who's a coach and who was having a serious problem in sales, basically because he did not know how to connect emotionally with his clients. But once he was able to overcome that, his sales increased by 25% after using emotional storytelling, not pity storytelling, not fake stories just to make people feel sorry for you or telling lies. No, it's just telling the real story, the authentic story, by being vulnerable and sharing the parts that are relevant, in terms of pain points of your clients, by telling them how you feel. Oh, I was so overweight and I was always feeling ashamed. I didn't want to be taking pictures. I hate looking at myself in the mirror. So if someone else who is also in this same situation hears what I'm saying or reads what I'm saying, and maybe if I write it down, they can also feel the same pain points and they will find themselves more endeared to me. And as usual, we move on to our action plan. Yes, yes, yes. Identify emotions associated with your offer, develop an emotional connection with your audience, and use storytelling to evoke emotions. Emotional connection is the key to unlocking the hearts of your audience. And by creating a genuine, authentic, and emotional connection, you can inspire, motivate, and move your audience, because you need to be able to inspire them to take action. And remember to be authentic. Use sensory details. Remember sensory details. Show, don't tell. Use emotional triggers and make it personal. So the power of emotional connection is in your hands. You've got to use it wisely. And for our assignment, write a story that evokes emotions. Now, I may not be able to take a look at the story, but when you write the story, just give it to a friend, family, or someone close to you and ask them to give you feedback on how it feels like. But if you have a way of contacting me, I can always review and tell you if the story evokes emotions or not. And of course, as usual, I either give you a thumbs up or I tell you you need to do that again. Thank you. So we're moving on to day 5.
Make them feel seen and they'll never forget you. So use this emotional anchor to elevate everything. When I talk about elevating everything, I'm referring to your content, your coaching, your calls, your career, your business, everything. So up next, we will be talking about sharing without oversharing. I always get loads and loads of questions about it. Oh, Dr. Ish, how can I make sure I'm sharing without saying too much about myself? So up next, we'll be discussing about that. And then if you want to have access to live Q&As, my storytelling frameworks, and any other question related to personal branding, LinkedIn, storytelling, leadership, sales, and maybe other areas that you feel I would be able to help you on, then the next best step is to click on the link in the description box and join my Telegram group.